It is Thursday, April 3rd. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. And now, a guy whose final four is bourbon, brisket, beer, and bourbon, J.P. Shadrick.
The Killer Bees, welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. We've got a busy hour ahead. We always say that, but there's stuff going on this week. We will review the NFL annual meeting and milk it for all it's worth. We've been doing it all week long. The offseason program is on deck starting next week. Veterans can come in the building for strength and conditioning, and we are 3 weeks from today to the NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick reunited with our good friend Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, JP.
How you been?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Great.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it feels good to be back.
Good to see you.
I've been gone for so long.
I know. I didn't even recognize you when you walked.
I know, right? I'm all clean shaven now and got a haircut. Fresh as daisy.
Yeah.
What else do you need to know?
That's it. That's all we need.
I had a nice week off though. I guess it was kind of
It's all right. Hey, you're off.
Health and wellness day.
It's good. Mental. Yeah. Okay. Physical, mental, all the above.
I need a lot of those mental health days.
Rack them up. Plenty to get to, of course. We'll hear from James Gladstone, GM of the Jaguars, caught up with John
I can't
Ogier.
believe you haven't even mentioned the draft yet.
I literally just said 3 weeks to the NFL draft.
I know, but
were you not paying attention to the Open?
But you just threw it, brushed it aside, like it's not even a main story. Like the league meetings down in, what was it, Palm Beach?
Yes.
Was a bigger story than the draft that's coming up in Green Bay.
Yeah, because it just happened. And there's quotes out of it.
I know, but it's a lot of fluff.
Yeah.
And we went through some of the potential rule changes a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of chuckling when some of the announcements were made of some of these changes that happened. But I mean, at the end of the day, right now, the lifeblood of every franchise is the draft. The draft talk should be paramount every single day. I don't care if there's a league owners meeting tomorrow again.
What about next week? Offseason program, first-year head coach, new staff, establishing the culture, raising the floor of the team, the whole deal. The ecosystem.
Are they going to win? Are they going to win any games next week?
Who knows?
If it
does go well, then that's not first impressions.
Look,
are important.
It's going to make headlines because it's a big deal. I get it. The first time the players get to be with the coaches, it's awesome, it's great. But the reality is, you want to get this team better, get better players. And what's going to happen in a couple weeks in Green Bay, that's what matters most. James Gladstone and his guys, and the coaching staff, they need to be on point. That moment happens at Green Bay, and they're on the phone and they're on the clock. That's where this team gets better. Right then and there. That's where they've got to be on time. And I'm looking forward to it. I've been
you must. It sounds like you are.
I'm looking forward to it because, look, this organization has, what's the right word?
I can think of a lot of words, but go ahead. Some I can't use right now.
Has fallen short.
Yes.
In April many times. And there's been many Aprils where after the draft happens, you're like, yeah, that was a good draft. And then all of a sudden.
Don't they all say that, though?
Well, everybody does. You're right. Everybody does. But it matters when year 1 and year 2 and year 3 are completed, and then you go, how did we do? I'll never forget. You go back, to many Jaguar drafts, and you felt good about it. But at the conclusion of year 3, which is kind of your gauge of whether or not a draft was successful or not, at the end of year 3, you were like, wasn't very good.
We're drafting again to take the place of this guy we drafted.
Well, no, then they go into free agency in the next couple of years and spend a bunch of money.
That's right.
Because they weren't drafting very well. Well, here's your chance. This is your chance to right the ship and to get it right as an organization. And this April draft is where it has to start. James Gladstone's got to be on point.
It reminds me a lot of like college football recruiting. Never in the history of college football has there been a bad recruiting class. Just ask the school who did it.
Of course.
I mean, they're all geniuses.
Well, it's all part of the campaign. I mean, it's all part of the positivity. And look, that's the great thing about the off seasons. I mean, everybody's undefeated and hope springs eternal. But I mean, you've got to have the Jimmies and the Joes.
Okay. Well, let's. You know
Pretty
what?
simple.
We'll push Liam.
Are we going to talk about any draft stuff at all?
I think we're going to talk about it right now.
Okay.
We're going to push Liam
Let's do
Cohen's
that.
comments that you don't care about, apparently, from this
I
week.
watched the whole interview.
Well, good. I mean, but some people listening might not have heard some of this, so we're going to have some of this a little bit later.
I love listening.
About the
by the way,
off-season program.
I will
and
say this:
Trevor Lawrence.
I do enjoy listening to both Liam Cohen and Gladstone. I think, because there's been a lot made about how good of a communicator James Gladstone is, but Liam Cohen is an excellent communicator as well. I enjoy listening to what he has to say. And by the way, when's the first episode of The Hunt coming out?
Today.
I've gotten all these teasers
Today.
Tonight,
7:00.
Awesome.
Yeah,
We'll
have a teaser coming up on this show in a little
because I've been seeing all these teasers on Jaguars.com, and I like what I'm hearing so far, and I'm just sitting there going, when is the first episode coming out?
7:00, Jaguars YouTube tonight.
Can't wait. I'll be watching it tonight.
And unprecedented access.
Outstanding.
Should be great. We'll have a teaser of that coming up. The Jaguars have the number 5 pick in the NFL draft.
For now.
Ooh.
Now.
You got some intel?
No, I have no insight whatsoever.
Okay.
But I'm a big believer. I know that James Gladstone has said that he's a big believer in acquiring more draft capital and always having as much draft capital as you possibly can.
They've got, now, just to preface this, they do have the most draft picks this year and next year of any team in the league combined.
Great. Let's
Combined.
get more.
Okay,
Get some more.
Just more.
Yeah, get some more. If there's a way that you can trade back from 5, I would love to see this team trade back from 5.
How far down are you going?
I'll go down in the teens. I'm okay with that.
But you still need a player that can go produce now, and if you're going to get a first-round pick.
Yeah, you can get that. You can get that. You can absolutely get that if you go down into the teens. But I mean, here's why. I really think that this draft it has a couple quarterbacks and a couple, elite players at the top. And then there's
the quarterbacks elite players?
No,
or
they're not. They're just quarterbacks.
Okay, all right.
Caleb Williams was an elite quarterback prospect.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was an elite quarterback prospect. Cam Ward and Shadrick Sanders are not in that category.
They're just quarterback prospects.
They're quarterbacks that a lot of teams need quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Now, Cam Ward makes some throws that are special. Special. But the total body of work is not anywhere near a Caleb Williams or a Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. He does some things that you go, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And Shadrick Sanders has some of the same moments. And I think at times ball placement an issue with him. Trying to extend the play too often is an issue with him. But Abdul Carter from Penn State and Travis Hunter from Colorado, you're talking cream of the crop. So you take those two guys and then the 2 quarterbacks. And then after that, I think there's a lot of guys that are very closely rated.
And the Jaguars pick 5th. So in theory, if those 4 are gone,
do you try to trade back? I would like to see them to try to trade back.
Is there somebody after that, though, that a team would be willing to trade up for?
That's the big question.
And maybe they trade up for one of those top 4 guys.
Now, if a quarterback slides back somehow, some way, could that end up being a possibility of the Jaguars maybe orchestrating a trade? Maybe. The quarterback is always something that allows people to be a willing trade possibility. The offensive line prospects, there's some really good ones. I think you've got, if you were back into the teens or even move back a couple spots, you've got an opportunity to pick up a really good offensive lineman. really good defensive linemen. I think the big guys in this draft, it's a good draft. Wide receivers, I don't think you'd be in a market for the wide receiver in the first round anyway. Mason Graham, like him, solid.
A lot of people like him. He's
Strong,
mocked everywhere.
Great hands. I mean, and that's the guy that you've seen mocked with the Jaguars
All
the
over
most.
the place. Yeah.
And I like him. The only thing I think he's got some limitations is length. He doesn't have great length. Not a great pass rusher. Great football player, though. Great hands, great taking on the blocks, does all that stuff really well. But is he in the category of Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter?
Well, no, if he was, he'd be picked in the top 4.
I don't think he is. But I like him. Don't get me wrong. But
do you like him more if you trade back and pick him?
Yeah.
Well, if you like him,
I don't think you'd be able to get him by trading back.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting question, and I would love to know what their thinking is about a Mason Graham, or a lot of teams, what their thought process is with a Mason Graham. Very high floor, but I think the question with him is how high is the ceiling? I mean, because when you're in that top 5, you're looking for intangibly rich, great football players.
Right.
Right, to use James's term. He's a great football player. Intangibles off the chart. Is he a game changer? I think that's a question that when you're drafting in the top 5, you're looking for somebody that's a game changer. And I'm not saying he is, and I'm not saying he's not. But is he in that Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter category
Let me throw
of
one
game
at you.
changer?
How about Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end?
Jack of all trades, does a million things well. But he's a tight end. You got a good tight end in Brenton Strange. Mm-hmm. You signed 2 guys in free agency.
They were teammates in college, by the way.
So I like him. Do I like him at 5? No.
Okay. All right.
There's a lot of good offensive linemen, too.
There are.
Who do you like amongst the offensive line besides the guy at Alabama?
Oh, Booker, the guard?
Yeah.
It's hard to not like him. I don't know. Will Campbell is the one that kind of
LSU.
Everybody has thrown his name up high in all these mock drafts. And I'll be honest with you, I did an LSU game this year. I didn't study the offensive line too hard.
Armand Membu.
Missouri guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super athletic, right tackle at college. Is he going to be a tackle in the pros? Is he going to be a guard? I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see where they view some of these guys from a positional aspect, because a lot of these guys that were college tackles, the draftniks are kind of forecasting some of these guys as interior offensive linemen.
Question. Yeah, they can draft them high. Doesn't mean they're going to start. They can go compete, and but they've got the left tackle, Walker Little, under contract.
Well, not necessarily left tackle. He's under contract as a lineman.
A decent-sized contract.
A decent-sized contract, but JP,
the left guard's got a decent-sized contract.
I'm here to tell you that contract doesn't say that you're going to be given a spot.
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying the finances of what we're dealing with here, right?
Which is a very fair contract. I mean, with Walker Little, I mean it's a good contract, but that contract doesn't say he's my starting left tackle.
Okay, but you'd be comfortable with him as a swing guy in theory.
I mean, I'd like to not to be paying him that much.
That's
for
what I'm
being
saying.
a swing
That's
job.
the whole argument.
But I mean, let him compete somewhere.
Okay,
guard, tackle, wherever. I mean,
play.
Competition's the best thing on the planet. More competition, better performance out of everybody.
Let's come back in a moment. We can talk draft a little more later, Logs. We got to get to this the annual meetings, and we're going to hear from the head coach.
Let me say this just real quick. If Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter fall to the Jaguars somehow at 5,
run to the thing.
Mike Perkins had better have that card brought up to the podium like that in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And he better have those cards filled out already in advance, because, Perk's that guy. He's the guy that's handing the card.
Uh-huh.
Those 2 guys are on a whole different level than a lot of these other players. And there's some really good football players, don't get me wrong. Those 2 guys, though, I'm talking Micah Parsons and the biggest question about Travis Hunter is he going to be an elite wide receiver, an elite defensive back? Take his pick. He can be both.
Might be both. We're back in a moment. We'll take a look at the offseason program coming up next week on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Hey, I'm Logan Cook, punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or stolen is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn on the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. But remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead, have a designated driver, keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
It's great to be intangibly curious, as our fan base might be labeled at this point. But intangibly rich, I think we can all get to a place that even in our own minds means somewhat of the same thing. When we're looking at on-field intangibles, it's things like competitiveness, toughness, and even instincts and nuances of each skill that is offered up at each position. Off the field, you're looking about, how much passion does somebody have for the game itself? As well as what are they like as a teammate and a person off the field. And so those are things that we gauge and really lean into as a part of our decision-making process. It's really where we start at each point of player acquisition. But, we got to remain agile at the same time and be open to, a number of options. But at the end of the day, yes, it's rooted in intangibles, and that's something that we'll keep as our North Star as we round out this first offseason.
That's James Gladstone, of course, Jaguars GM with John Oehser at the NFL annual meeting earlier this week. The owners' meetings, a full conversation at Jaguars.com. Jaguars football is presented by Fresh from Florida. It's always in season. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. Intangibly curious is what he called Osher there, which is pretty funny line from the GM.
I really like, though, how he, everybody's been kind of wondering to some extent, what does intangibly rich mean?
There you go. You have it.
And I think he did a pretty good job of spelling a little bit of it out. I kind of wonder, too, because when you get to encounter a lot of these prospects that you're considering drafting or even signing as undrafted free agents, there's a lot of information that you acquire on film and physicals and all that other stuff. I just wonder how much that they're investing in, I don't want to say private eyes, but in really researching the background of these players because, JP, when these guys go to a meeting at the combine, they're prepped. Mm-hmm. They're prepped. They're taught how to handle themselves, how to conduct themselves by their agents. But, what you really want to find out is how these people are when they're not being interviewed and when they're walking around, how they are with their teammates, how they are with staff, how they are with their family. I mean, you want to know as much as you possibly can because you're getting ready to make millions of dollars of investments, millions into these players. And you want to make sure that you make the right decisions. And
scouts are involved in that. The local area scouts.
The scouts should be able to have great lines of communication. And if you have scouts that have not fostered great relationships in their area,
they're not scouts
fire
for long.
them and find somebody that
wouldn't
can.
be around. Right.
I mean, because that is part of the job of finding out the true use of these players, So I would hope that there's a great emphasis put into that because we have not done a good job, a good enough job as an organization in the past with some of that stuff. I mean, we had a draft pick a couple years ago that we drafted in the first round, a corner out of Florida, that when he got drafted, you would assume that the kid didn't even want to play here.
That reaction on the couch at his house, remember that?
Once he got here, you would have assumed that he didn't want to play here then either.
C.J. Henderson. Yeah. And then he didn't want to play when he got traded either. He's been hurt a little bit, but still.
Make a couple phone calls, you could have found that out.
Oof.
That was a rough one.
That was a rough one.
There's other ones
we can
too.
Go back. We can go back in history if we want.
We can go a few more.
We got
first
about
rounders.
38 minutes left in the show. It might not be enough time for all of those.
Yeah, vet them. Spend the resources. Look, when you have a phone plan, JP,
yes,
you're not getting charged by the minute anymore.
No, really?
Okay, because you got the unlimited plan.
Amazing.
Okay, make sure your scouts have the unlimited plan so they can make all the phone calls that they need to make.
By the way, you remember when you had to stockpile minutes and you had the family plan and you had to combine minutes and use them at night?
I remember paying $1.90 a minute for Cellular One.
And then they charged you by the text message, whether you got it or sent it. You were getting charged. I didn't get it sent to me.
Oh, it was crazy.
I get 5 cents a text message. What are you guys doing?
It was crazy for a long time.
Yeah.
But anyway, you got unlimited plans now. So have your scouts utilize that service.
Excited for you.
Find out all you can.
Did you ever have a rotary phone? Probably when you were a kid.
Yeah. When I was a kid. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it was what you knew, man.
That's just what it was. Yeah. Remember the first cordless phone we had in the house? It was like, oh wow, this thing has an antenna on it. You can walk around in
I'll never
room.
forget my first cellular phone. It was I had a plan from Cellular One,
okay,
and I was with the Jets at the time, and so I got this thing just in case something happened, and it was in a bag. Like literally like a kind of a shoebox size cloth bag,
right?
And it literally was. You had to pay I think it was $80 a month or something like that, and then you had to pay $1.90 a minute. So it was like, hey man, I'll be there in 5 minutes. All right, you're looking at your stopwatch or something, and making sure you were hanging up before you had too many minutes on there. But funny. I mean. Anyway.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Use those minutes. You got them. They're unlimited. Vet these players.
I'm glad that Johnny Ozone sat down with James Gladstone.
Well, they stood up technically, but yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, I like it.
It's good. It's a good conversation. We had it the other day on Jags AM. You can check it out there or on Jaguars.com or Jaguars YouTube as it stands by itself. And I'm sure, I would guess at some point next week, maybe there could be some more availability with the offseason program about to get underway.
Well, and then at some point, I'm sure there's going to be a draft.
Probably a pre-draft.
Luncheon,
like
whatever you want to call it,
Usually it's how it works.
So we can find out exactly who they're going to take.
They're going to give us all the answers and then feed us a sandwich.
Yeah, they're not going to give much information. But, I mean, look, it's now's the time, I think, where because how many days away is the draft right
It's literally 21 days.
21 days, right? Because it's Thursday night, 3 weeks away. And between now and that night, this is what you call the rumor period, right? This is where a lot of misinformation gets spread.
Yeah.
So everything that you hear from now until then, take it with a grain of salt.
You think it's BS?
Not necessarily BS, but it's yeah. I mean, there's a lot of maneuvering and all the different mock drafts that are coming out, and then people are going to plant little ideas and information in different media members. Look, there's personnel guys.
See, you might be doing it right now with Mason Graham. You might be, he's not good enough.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean,
and you're trying to
maybe
be stealthy.
Allow the Jaguars to fall back a couple spots and pick him because he's a really good football
See,
player.
maybe you're planting the seed.
Picks.
You're planting the seed. You're part of the system.
I like the idea of getting more picks. I've always been a big fan of accumulating picks because the reality is that the draft, it is a numbers game. Your accuracy of making the right pick is not great. So the more picks you have, the better chance you have of making a right pick.
But if there's a guy up there you really want, just get it.
Who would you, if you had your choice?
Yeah.
You were picking number 1 overall.
I'm going Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
I think he's that dynamic of
Where
a
would you
player.
play him?
I mean, for this team, we've talked about this before. And I'm kind of going both ways.
I haven't gotten your thoughts on it.
And I'm going both ways on it because you could use cornerback play on this team, right? In a number of different ways. Even though with the free agent you signed and some things you have, I mean, you put that guy out on one side and call that a day, I think. Or you put him at receiver full-time and then bring him in certain packages on defense. I think you could do it both ways.
Yeah, you could.
But the problem is if he gets hurt, you lose 2 players.
Correct.
You're losing 2 positions.
Yeah, which is not good.
So that's the scary part of what this is. But when he's out there, ball skills, speed, dynamic, got his head on his shoulders. I mean, he's got everything you want. So I would, and if it were me, and it's this is me, it's hard to pass that up.
And you're playing him on defense for the most part.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
It's a great debate.
Tough.
It's a great debate. There's
how much do you let him drive it and be like, I want to do everything? I don't know about that.
An NFL game typically consists about 65 plays for each team, right? Offensively.
Right.
So you can't expect him to play, 120 to 130 snaps a game. It's
so he did at Colorado. More than that. More plays in
I don't think college football has that many snaps, do they?
They used to have a whole lot more until they changed the clock rules a couple years ago. The clock runs all the time.
And maybe that is the case. But, I mean, I just can't imagine a player withstanding 130 snaps a game. I just can't see that. And on top of that, what does that do to the longevity of the player if he's taking that number of snaps?
All a great argument. It's more physical in the NFL, in theory, in the NFL, right? Yes, it is. Not in theory, it is. It's a tough one. It's because you want your best guy out there.
Yeah, he's a great player, and it's amazing to me that there is a debate about a player. I mean, because look, all the great two-way players that have been in the Bo Jackson, played offense. but I mean, dual sport guy, right?
Yeah, right. Baseball.
Deion Sanders, and which one was he going to do?
Yep.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Deion Sanders. Okay. Returner, defensive back, little packages that he had on offense. Okay. They were great. But I don't think there's ever been, you probably got to go way back, way back to find somebody that had was a legitimate two-way football player, offense and defense. I mean, just nobody's ever really done that in modern day era.
It's tough. I mean, you got to go back to like Chuck Bednarik, probably like that era,
right?
I mean, Charles Woodson was special teams, but he was a defense, but he didn't do much receiver.
There was nobody that was true. There hasn't been anybody in the modern era of football, the Super Bowl.
Deion played some receiver.
Yeah, but it was limited.
And it was later.
It was very limited.
Yeah.
But there's nobody been in this. I don't think in the Super Bowl era that's been both ways, starting on defense, starting on offense.
Because they've kept expanding the rosters and the whole thing.
Right.
Interesting.
Let's
come back. I promise.
But I like your pick. I mean, he is special, and he loves ball, and he's got some of the best ball skills on the defensive side or the offensive side. Some of the best ball skills I've ever seen of anybody. Wide receiver, defensive back, doesn't matter.
Instincts, can break on it, sees the game. Let's come back. I promise. We're going to hear from Liam Cohen.
Okay.
I'm going to make it a point to run these Liam Cohen clips when we come back because that's what you want to hear.
I do want to hear it.
You want to hear about the offseason program next week.
I want to hear how this football team is going to win.
All right, we'll find out.
I want to hear how this team is going to organize and execute.
Well, maybe we'll have an answer when we come back.
The offseason plan.
Okay, you'll hear that coming up. The new season's right around the corner. Get those 2025 season ticket memberships now at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 on 1010XL, jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round one of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open a legal residence in the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, they total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Plumbing problem? Septic emergency? HVAC system not doing its job? Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. From leaks, clogged drains to septic installations and air conditioning repairs, we've got the tools and expertise to get it done right. Dial 904-862-6769 now and let our friendly team handle the dirty work so you don't have to. Remember, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Energy. That's the first thing when we're really trying to place is just feel, guys, like this is good stuff. It's great to be back. We're doing football, guys. How many of us get to do this? We get an opportunity to do this every single day. There's so many that don't. And so how are we going to approach this thing? I think they'll walk into that kind of feeling. And, we'll just do meetings, obviously, throughout phase one, introducing our systems while we at the same time start to introduce our culture, the way that we're going to be, the way we're going to talk to each other, the way that we're going to communicate with each other, how we're going to treat one another. That'll go hand in hand with the systems.
It's Liam Cohen at the AFC Coaches Breakfast at the NFL annual meeting earlier this week down in Palm Beach at the Breakers, and welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. The 2025 season at Daly's Place continues in May. Teddy Swims May 10th, T-Pain May 31st. Plenty more in June and July. June especially busy. Tickets at dailysplace.com and show information as well throughout the spring and summer. The question to Liam Cohen there, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman on Jaguars Happy Hour, by the way, was, hey, what do players expect next week when they come back in the building for the first time, maybe the first time, for the offseason program? It's the first opportunity for Cohen and the coaching staff and the strength and conditioning staff who will have them on the field to really get in front of these guys. So that's the answer. How important is this first impression for Liam Cohen and the staff?
Well, I think it's important, but then, the other thing, too, that you just brought up about the strength and conditioning staff, which, oh, by the way, that's new.
They're new, too.
That is new. So there's a lot of new when the players walk into the building, and which can be a great thing. And part of that newness is also going to be that everybody is starting from ground zero. Everybody has an opportunity, making a strong first impression and building relationships as everybody's moving forward. And it's incredibly important that the culture begins to be established that very first moment. And anything less than the acceptable culture ways are not okay. And so I think it's going to be a very important day. But it's something that has to be built every day. It's not something that, okay, hey, guys, here's how we're going to be. All right, let's all march and we're good. Okay, it's a daily process that has to continue to be reinforced.
And that's for years. That's not just 1 year.
And a work ethic and a level of expectation of, look, this is where we are going to be. Okay, anything less is unacceptable. I mean, those are the things that need to be established from the very early on days and the moments that you have. But again, it has to be consistently and reoccurring, positively enforced all the time. It's not a some of the time thing. It's an all the time thing.
By the way, the off-season program, yes, begins officially April 8th. The league announced all the off-season dates officially for every team earlier today. So the first day for the Jags, April 8th. It can begin April 7th, but the Jaguars will be in April 8th. voluntary minicamp, which I know you love those in the off-season logs, your history of voluntary camps, April 21st through 23rd.
I don't mind them.
I know. Well,
Yeah, I don't mind 'em.
I'm going back to your history as a player.
Well, that was not a voluntary minicamp that I was not at. That
was voluntary, right?
It was a voluntary early report date to training camp.
That's what I'm talking
about.
That's what I'm talking about.
After we had 20 voluntary days already in the off season.
It was voluntary though. Anyway, NFL draft April 24th through 26th. Phase 2 April 28th for the Jaguars. OTAs in May, a number of days there. That's phase number 3, and then mandatory minicamp in June 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what you've seen in the past, to where you have all of these voluntary days in the off season, and then all of a sudden you get to the minicamp and you're like, hey, and all of a sudden they don't have it.
Well, that's what happened with Doug Peterson, right? If he had good attendance throughout the offseason, then he would just go ahead and bang the mandatory one. Or let only the rookies have to come or whatever. And veterans could go away.
I was never a fan of canceling the mini camp, because I understand what Doug's kind of goal was, is that to allow the players to have a mental and physical break so that they're fresh when they come back. But there's ways to keep the players in a fresh way throughout the whole off season. There's times that you can give them breaks or time off, but if you're giving them the time off at the mandatory minicamp, that's the most allowable or the fewest restrictions on what you can and can't do in all of the off season.
Yes.
So if you're gonna bypass something or to not do something, don't make it the one that has the most value of all of the all-season activities.
And I'm going to say something here. I might get in hot water with you on this. It's 3 days, for goodness sake.
Right.
It's 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
How could that be such an issue? It's 3 days. Go work for 3 days.
Yeah, so I'm all for it.
Thank you. Okay.
No, I'm all for it.
I didn't know if you'd be on the other side of that.
No, my point is that if you want to give the players some time off, don't make it the mini camp.
They got 5 weeks off coming up. Right after, the day after.
Exactly.
5 weeks.
Totally understand.
Do the 3 days.
And for some teams, like the teams that were in the playoffs and had the season extended, and the amount of time off they had has been shorter. Well, that's not the case here.
No.
Okay, so the players should be kind of fresh and ready to go. But if you need to give them a little bit of a break, don't take it out of that mini camp. Take it out of like one of the other phase days that have more restrictions about what you can and can't do. You want to be able to do as much as you possibly can, which is at that stage of the off season, which is where the mandatory minicamp falls.
OTA 2 or 3,
like certain
whatever.
Phases you're not allowed to have like one-on-ones. You're not allowed to have team drills.
Correct.
You're allowed to have all of that in the minicamp. So don't take that away.
OTA 3, 4. Okay, yeah, take a day, whatever.
Correct.
But hey, they could take them anyway. They're voluntary. Up until the mandatory minicamp.
Correct.
I'm just telling you, in theory, they can.
Yeah, but
So if you need a day, take the day.
And that's
voluntary.
okay.
Take
that's
the whole
okay.
damn thing. Don't come in at all.
And look, if there's guys that have a way of preparing and it suits them best, I mean, Josh Allen a couple years ago wasn't here at all in the off-season stuff.
Right.
And then came back for the mandatory minicamp, had his best year as a pro. By far.
Is that necessarily the best course of action, though, with a new staff?
No, you need to be here.
That's the other side of the argument. Okay,
Well,
it is a new
look,
staff. You need to
let me
learn what's
just say
going
this.
on. Right? There's only a handful of guys.
Playing defense is not rocket science. I mean, so
Wait a minute.
it's not like you need to be here for all of it, but I would like to see Josh here for as much as possible. But if he's not here for certain parts of it, okay, that's fine. If it works for him, it works for him.
I'm going to guess, though, there's probably only a handful of players that they could all get away with it because of the CBA.
Correct.
But there's probably a certain level of player on this team, and probably not as deep as you think, that could truly be okay. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not speaking as a team. That's voluntary. I get it.
The one thing that is definitely the case is
there's a few untouchables. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that are untouchable from a contract standpoint, and that's a fact.
That's right.
But the one thing that is definitely true in this case is that when you have a whole new regime, okay, what you've done in the past or any, if JP, let's say you were a draft pick a couple years ago.
A high one, right? I was a high draft pick.
Hey, look, it really doesn't matter anymore. You've got a new regime. There's, the general manager that may have drafted you is gone. So the new general manager is not going to look good or bad if he keeps you or he doesn't keep you.
Yeah, right.
There's veteran guys. It doesn't matter. It's not going to make the new general manager look good or bad if he keeps you or he doesn't keep you, or they decide that you're not a part of the program or you are a part of the program. So everybody's kind of starting at ground zero from that standpoint. But then again, there are contracts that make certain guys untouchable. It's just part of the business.
Professional football.
But everybody has a clean slate. Nobody has any built-up equity, so to speak, even though some guys do, just from an experience and play standpoint. But a lot of guys don't have any of that equity built up at all.
So we'll see. I bet attendance will be pretty high in this offseason program.
As it should be. I mean, look, this is a great place to live. And here's the other thing that I've made this point for a number of years. If you are out and training on your own and you get hurt, you're on your own. Non-football NFI list, baby. Okay? And you know what that means? You don't get paid. Okay? If you get hurt while you're working under the umbrella of the team, okay, then that's in the line of duty injury. Where would you rather work out? Somewhere where there is no way of you getting paid if you got hurt, or if you work out here, then you're going to get paid because you were in the facility working out.
Yeah, it seems like an easy answer to me.
And I can tell you this, from my experience, working out with your teammates is great because it's competitive. You can help raise the level of everything you do in the offseason when you're working out with your teammates. You build relationships. And with a lot of new faces that are going to be coming in, this is a chance for them to get to know everybody.
I mean, speaking of working out away from the building, you know what I want to do one day?
What?
One of those darkness retreats like Aaron Rodgers did. That sounds fun.
That guy.
That sounds like an interesting
Aaron
couple
Rodgers
days.
playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers just does not work for me.
We'll see. They haven't announced anything yet.
I know, but it's going that way, right?
Trending that direction.
Can you picture Aaron Rodgers in his darkness retreat fitting in with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
It's a different place.
I don't know, man.
Let's come back in a moment. We will tease the hunt. It is back tonight.
Can't wait. I love that show. I think it's every NFL team should do something like this, and some of them try.
Yeah. Not to this extent.
Not like the Jaguars.
Nope.
The hunt is outstanding, must-watch football viewing entertainment.
We're on 1010 AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round one of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Hey, I'm Logan Cook, punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Driving distracted or stolen is dangerous for you, and it's dangerous for everyone on the road around you. Ride with Do Not Disturb. That call, text, or social media message can wait. Choose your music before you turn on the ignition. Anytime your eyes are not on the road ahead, you're distracted, so pay attention. But remember, drive high equals DUI. Plan ahead, have a designated driver, keep a clear head to see clear ahead, and let's get everyone home safely.
Pleasure. Yeah. Sure.
On season 6, episode 1, Cohen interview, take 1. All ready?
Yeah, let's go. There you have it, the hunt. Back tonight, 7 o'clock on Jaguars YouTube, featuring unprecedented access into the leadership changes for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm told it's 36 minutes long.
Nice. Very good.
I mean, that's almost like popcorn in a cold one territory. That's enough time to do both.
Oh, yeah. I'll have a cold drink and watch it tonight. I don't know about popcorn.
No, not a popcorn.
No, I like popcorn, but I like popcorn at movies.
This is damn. I mean, they might as well go to Sundance with this thing. That's how long this thing is, and they've done a great job with it. They really have. I mean, the whole crew, all the way top to bottom, from Kavanaugh, of course, to Candace. Everett Sullivan kind of leads the charge on this side of things, and I mean, we can go through the list here, but Trent Padilla and Gabby Dalton have been working their tails off over there. Andrea Curry, the whole access given by the football side. I mean, you'll see it tonight. I've seen bits and pieces logs. The whole thing's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I will. Me and the wife Tara, we will definitely be watching that tonight.
Is that her name? No, I'm kidding.
Yes, you know very well.
I know I very well, of course.
We will definitely watch that tonight. Yeah. And, we always try to find something to watch. But I can tell you this. That is on my list, like top 5, is when that stuff comes out. And I know all the people. I mean,
it's almost like we work here. It's amazing. Well, imagine that, Locks.
But it's still got, the access that you get and the entertainment that you get from it, I think is outstanding. And I would recommend anybody that has not watched The Hunt that do not miss this year's The Hunt series, because it is must-watch TV. If you're a football fan, if you're looking to be entertained, this is great stuff. Looking forward to it.
7 o'clock Eastern tonight, Jaguars YouTube. They'll stream it live there. It'll be on the Jaguars website at some point very soon as well. So check that out. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Off-season program next week. Veterans will be in. First impressions for the head coach and the strength and conditioning staff. And then we're closing in on the NFL draft, 3 weeks away. And the draft party this year at Lemon Bar, Logs.
At the Lemon Bar?
Yeah. That's right.
That's where we'll be?
No, we're going to be here.
Oh.
But the party will be out.
I want to be where the party
I
is.
mean, maybe you could go out there and report back.
Can I be like a remote
roving reporter? I'm sure that would go very well for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm looking forward to the draft. I've been watching film for the last couple weeks, and I think it's going to be a very interesting draft. And when I said this earlier, there was kind of a reason why I said that. I would love to see the Jaguars trade down, just because they can accumulate some more picks. But then also, there's a lot of players that are really close together. After you get past that elite group right at the top, and more picks means better chance of hitting. And you've got a great group of guys that are going to be available in that 8 to 15, 16, 17. The grades they're going to be so close together that you can get great value there. But you just, again, said this before, but you got to be willing to find somebody that's wanting to trade up to do that.
Takes two to tango.
There's more people that are willing to trade back than are willing to trade up. I think that's
we always
standard.
We always hear about trade. This could be a trade machine. Here we go, trade, and then draft night. Rarely does something happen.
Yeah, I mean, look. Sometimes I think in the last couple of years, the frequency of trades though have gone up. So,
what was the last year?
And we've never been around the mindset of James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, so we don't know kind of what their MO is. I mean, they've got an opportunity to create their own MO.
Correct.
We'll see.
I mean, we know we can follow the track record in L.A. a little bit of what they did there, but I mean, he was more in the scouting side of the draft than
and I think the other thing too that is incredibly important. Every team has a great opportunity after the draft to still continue to add talent to the. I was trying to think of the environment. Is that what the
ecosystem? Come on, Logs. I know you've been out for 2 weeks, but you forget ecosystem. Come on, man.
And
you said it earlier in the show.
I'm really looking forward to that because that was something that James Gladstone handled personally for the Rams, and they've done a great job in that category with the undrafteds. And so I know a lot of people are fired up about what the Jaguars will be able to do in the draft, and there's no doubt that that's the highest level of talent that you can add to your roster. But it doesn't end there. I'm looking forward to seeing what they are also going to do after the draft and the undrafted part.
Final Four this weekend. Do you care?
Who's in the Final Four?
All the number 1 seeds.
I heard that Florida is in.
They are one of the number 1 seeds.
Who else is
Duke?
Who
are the others?
Cameron Crazies, right?
Yeah.
Are they still considered the Cameron Crazies?
They are, yes. Oh, Auburn and Houston.
Duke, Florida.
Houston.
And who?
Houston.
All right. Who are you rooting for?
I don't care.
You don't care?
No.
Who do you think's going to win?
Duke.
Duke? Are they that good?
I think they're pretty good.
Right.
I mean, from the 2 games I watched them in the tournament, I don't know anything else.
Virginia's not in the Final Four?
They're not going to be there for a while, I don't think. Might be a minute.
That's all right.
Alabama blew it.
I'll watch the Final Four. I haven't watched the basketball game yet, but I'll watch the final. When's the first game?
Saturday. No, yeah, Saturday.
Saturday
night.
What time?
They're both on Saturday. One's at 6 o'clock.
Saturday.
And they're back to back.
Got a concert I'm going to on Saturday.
Oh, what do we got?
Is
it a competing
Billy
venue?
Strings?
Whoa, sweet.
Yeah.
You got an extra one? Extra ticket for that? Crash the party.
You want to come be a third wheel?
I'd say for that concert, maybe so.
At the Amp.
Yeah.
And,
that'll be a great show. I've heard he's fantastic. I haven't seen him.
He's I've heard nothing but good things.
Great to see you again, Logs.
Great to be
It's
seen.
been too long. 2 weeks.
And next week,
yes,
you can educate me on basketball a little bit.
Not me, because you're asking the wrong guy.
I need some help.
I didn't watch any all year.
I need some help. I don't know anything about basketball.
I guess next week we'll probably talk about the NFL draft again.
Well, of course, because it's the most important thing for this franchise. And I'll give you a breakdown of some of the offensive linemen I think this team needs to do.
Oh, I like that. That's coming up next week. Thanks for listening. Thanks to our entire crew, David Cho, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato. For Jeff Lageman, I'm JP Shadrick, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour.